Hello everyone, ARG back with some more Franchise Hockey Manager 8, and today we are in the world of the NHL in 1992, going to try to not drag the Kings any further down. Now, we're not doing that terrible, especially considering that Wayne Gretzky, arguably the best hockey player on the planet, and I do say arguably because an argument could be made that maybe Mario Lemieux would be that guy, but it is a debate that is never going to have both sides ever satisfied. So, seeing as how he's out, I think we're doing okay. I have a trade in the works that I think is going to go through. I'm telling you right now, I am not necessarily like winning the trade as far as getting superstars or anything, but I'm getting value for if the trade goes through for Mike Gartner finally. And the part of the reason why I wanted to trade Gartner so bad is not that he's bad; he's still a four-star player. The reason is that I have a Alexander McGillney that developed into a four-star right winger that's stuck on my third line right now. So I'm trying to move the much older Gartner while he still has value, so that I can get something in return. And yeah, again, I'm not getting a four-star player back, but I'm getting something. All right, so Gretzky is still out. Gary Galley is day to day. He cannot play right now, but he is day to day. Should be back in the lineup in short order. And yes, you can see my cat Azrael in the back. We'll see if he wants to settle down and sleep. He refused to get out of the room, so yeah, looks like he's gonna be cleaning his ass right there in plain view, so you can all enjoy. All right, so we're fifth in the conference, so again, we're not doing too terribly. But defense has been kind of an issue, so hopefully we can kind of turn that around a little bit in that regard. So we're playing today in Chicago against the Blackhawks. We've been a much better road team than home team, and that huge home stretch there has me kind of scared. But we'll see. Alright, so first up is in Chicago against the Hawks. They are really good. They are 17-8. That's good for second in the conference. We are 0-1 against Chicago. Now, if you remember, they destroyed us 11-3 at home. I believe that was in the last stream. Hopefully that does not happen again. Let's see if we bring in a better position here on the road in Chicago. Alright, so let's get this thing underway. Now, of course, Andrew Castles is still filling in for Gretzky on the first line. We could do a lot worse than him. Arthur Serbe is going to be our goaltender. Wendell Young is going to be in net for the Blackhawks. And of course, as usual, go Kings! Come on, we need a win. Get me started on the right note here. Alright, it's a 2-2 tie on the road. I'll take it. That's our first tie of the season. Last season, after October, we had like 5 or 6 ties or something like that. But I'll take it. It's on the road. Chicago is a better team than us and everything. So, given all of that, a tie is okay. Alright, so 2-2 tie in Chicago to start the month. We were outshot 44-43, and that one Steve Thomas was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Andy Rimeshaw was the second star with an assist, and Troy Murray was the third star with a goal. Chicago opened up the scoring in the first. Then in the second period, Luke Robitaille scored from Jeff Smith and Randy Ladouceur. Then Troy Murray gave the Blackhawks a 2-1 lead, and then Mike Gartner scored his 10th of the season from Randy Wood and Andy Rimeshaw, tied the game at 2. It was 2-2 after 2. Of course, nobody scored in the third, nobody scored in overtime, and that was the end of the game. Lots of shots, both goaltenders here having a really good game. I mean, 41 and 43 saves, 41 and 42 saves. That's pretty good. Alright, so Alan Bester has been put on waivers by the Blues. Ouch. Sergei Makarov in Toronto is out for 6 months with a torn ACL. A good night for former King Bob Kudelski with the Islanders. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against Pittsburgh. Greg Paslowski is not suspended in St. Louis. Bruce McNall is satisfied with my work. He used to be very happy. Now he's only satisfied. Oh dear God. Donald Audette, playing in Washington in my universe, suffers mild electrical burns. What did he do? That's the first one I've seen, that one, so I'm gonna read it. Capitals right wing Donald Audette had a close call at home yesterday. I was replacing an electrical outlet cover plate and got a really bad shock, explained Audette. A few minutes later, my right hand felt numb and I noticed some redness, so I decided to go to the ER and have it checked out. Audette was found to have a very mild electrical burn, but will likely sit out the next game if any numbness or soreness persists. Even though he was assured the hand was okay, Audette said he wasn't taking any chances in the future. Next time I'm calling an electrician. First degree burns. I had second degree burns. So that's nothing. Go back and play. Anyway, he's day to day, so that's not too terrible. Alright, so we have a day off and then we are hosting the Pittsburgh Penguins. So yet again, we don't get to have a Mario against Wayne. Ready, Sens. Right, memorable night for Steve Yzerman. He had 4 assists against the Rangers. Right, and then I'm going to revert to what they had there in the first place and try again. No, it's only a well-balanced offer. Alright, we'll see what they say now. So originally they were offering me Rob Brown and a 5th for Mike Gartner. So I added Leonids, and I'm trying to get Joe Ricci back. He was taken away from me. So I'm trying to get him back, help my D a little bit. So, and I tried to go all the way up to a 3rd. My guy was saying, oh yeah, I'm sure they're gonna accept that. Doesn't work that way anymore. It used to be that in the previous versions of the game, when your guy was saying that, the trade was always going through. Now I found out that it doesn't always. Alright, so we'll see what they say. Alright, so Pittsburgh is in town now. Pittsburgh has a ridiculous 22-3-2 record. We have not played Pittsburgh so far this season. Let's take a look at their lineup over here. So Mike Layler not playing this game. He has a broken thigh. He's on the injured reserve for a while. Patrick Poulin is also not playing this game. He has shin splints. Kevin Stevens may or may not play this game. Actually, he probably will, because Poulin can't play. They only have 1 spare. They're not carrying 23 players for some reason. Alright, so the Pens in net have Don Beaupre and Jarmo Millis, Paul Coffey and Lee with Charlie Ade, Lubomir Sekarach, Richard Schmelik, Zardy Zalewski, one of my favorite hockey names. Now, it's too bad that FJ is not there, because I remembered another hockey name that I really like, and he used to play for the Sens for a very short time. His name is Rob Klinkhammer. That's a pretty cool hockey name as well. Doug Bodger and Rick Lanz complete the D. So that D is not bad at all. I've seen a lot worse, like mine. Up front, they have Randy Kennyworth, Troy Loney, Kevin Stevens, Sean Van Allen, Patrick Poulin, who's not going to play, John Cullen, Dave Annan, Mario Lemieux, who's having a really good season, Dan Quinn, Phil Bourque, Johnston, Recchi, and Wilson. Yeah, that's not going to be an easy game. And we're playing at home, and we're not a home team, so yeah. Yarmo Millis is going to be in net for Pittsburgh. We're going to go with Arthur Serbe. And of course, go Kings, we're at home. We should have the advantage, should being the key word. Yeah, we lost 6-4, so a lot of goals. It's to be expected against Pittsburgh, I suppose. We did outshoot Pittsburgh 33-29, so I guess Arthur Serbe had a bad one in the system. Doug Bodger was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Scott Arniel was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Dave Annan was the third star with a goal. Sellout crowd in Inglewood for us. Pittsburgh scored twice in the first period. 2-0 Pittsburgh after one. Then they added 2 more at the start of the second period. It was 4-0. Then we scored twice. Andrew Castle scored on the power play from Luke Robitaille and Mike Gartner. And then Al Seckard scored from Gerald Deduck and Scott Arniel. It was 4-2. Then Pittsburgh scored, made it 5-2, and then we scored Gerald Deduck from Mike Ridley and Alexei Gusarov. 5-3 Pittsburgh after 2. Then in the third period, Scott Arniel brought us to within 1. He scored unassisted. It was 5-4 for most of the period. Then with 11 seconds left to go, the Pittsburgh Penguins scored in an empty net, and it was a 6-4 victory for them. There was also some face punching going on in the third period. Let's see, Adam Burt and Troy Loney got at it, and that was the only one. I thought there were more. Alright, so a tie and a loss to start. Bob Probert's suspension ended in Detroit, back in the lineup over there. Then Yari Curry extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal against the Canucks. Alright, Pierre Turgeon extends his point streak to 21 games with a goal and an assist against the Islanders. Memorable game for Joe Mullen. 2 goals. Oh, yeah. Pretty nice game. 2 goals and 5 assists against the Blues. So Joe Mullen is 35 and he's still showing people that he can play. A little 7-point night for him. And then Gino Cavallini is on the block from the Blues. And now we're going to be hosting the Hartford Whalers. Hartford is 8-14-3, so it's a little bit more difficult for them. A couple seasons ago, they had a really, really good season, and it's been a little bit more difficult over there for them. We did win the first game of the season between us, 5-1 in Hartford. Hopefully we can beat them this time at home as well. It would be nice to have our first win of the month. Byron Dafoe is going to be in net for Hartford. Arthur Serbe in net for the Kings. Go Kings! We want W's. And we got L's. I don't like it. We lost 3-2. Oh, we are a 500 team. I keep fooling myself, but we are a 500 team this season, which, you know, in 92 is enough to make the playoffs. Not sure we're going to go far, but... Dang, we outshot the Whalers 36-28, so again, we kind of got robbed a bit by goaltending here. So Ron Francis was the first star of the game with 2 goals and an assist. Luke Robitaille was the second star with an assist, and Scott Young was the third star with 2 assists. Another sellout crowd in Inglewood. Nobody scored in the first period. Then we took a 2-0 lead into the second period. Wow, we couldn't hold on to our lead. Robert Reichel scored from Luke Robitaille and Ray Shepard, and then Alexander McGillney on the power play from Randy Wood and Robert Reichel. 2-0 Kings. Then the Whalers did score before the end of the period. It was 2-1 Kings after 2. And then in the third period, the Whalers ran away with the win with Ron Francis scoring the winner. And we could never tie it, even though there were 12:38 left to go. And then we had a fight in the third. Gerald Deduck and Brent Gilchrist went at it, and that was the end of the game. Not a great start. Not a great start. Yari Curry extends his goal streak to 6 games. He had a goal and 2 assists against the Blues. Craig Janney is suspended in Boston. He's gonna miss 3 games. Bernie Nichols got to 400 goals in his career. He had a goal and an assist against the Islanders. Bernie Nichols is 31 and he is a 2.5-star player, so he's declining now. Eric Weinrich is not suspended in Philadelphia. Paul Coffey got 1,200 points in his career with an assist against San Jose. Paul Coffey is 31 and is still a 5-star defenseman in the league, of course. Gary Galley might be playing soon. That'd be great. Did I submit that trade offer? I'm starting to doubt myself. Oh, Robert Lang is hurt. That's not where I'm gonna find that. Alright, so... No. Okay, I need to change that here. Oh, yeah, I might not have submitted my trade offer after all. Alright. Which wouldn't be the first time that has happened to me, of course. All right. Okay, so Robert Lang is day-to-day. Gary Galley is day-to-day, and they both cannot play, but I do have a couple days off here, so I might be okay, maybe. Oh, game. I already figured that out. Oh. They answered pretty quick. Okay, that... Maybe it was still in the works. I don't know. I remade the same offer, so we'll see, I guess. Teemu Selanne has a good game. Of course, Teemu Selanne playing for the Devils. He was drafted there in my universe, or signed there. I don't remember. 3 goals and 2 assists against Buffalo. Pretty good game for Teemu. A night to remember for Brendan Shanahan in that same game in New Jersey. He had 2 goals and 4 assists. Pierre Turgeon's point streak ended at 21 games. In that same game, he was held scoreless. Oh, that's gonna hurt. The Blackhawks, I think they have Jeremy Roenick that's out for a while too. Adam Foote is out for 11 months with a concussion. In that same game, Denis Savard recorded 1,200 points with an assist against Montreal. John O'Granick tallied 500 assists in his career. He had a goal and an assist against Toronto. Galley almost recovered, and they are saying no way. I don't know what to do anymore. I'm not able to trade anymore. It used to be easy to trade. Now I can't do shit no more. Doug Gilmour has a memorable game. He had 4 assists against the Oilers. Cliff Running has a great game. 4 assists against the Canucks. Jaromir Jagr lights the lamp with 3 goals and 2 assists in that same game. Jagr playing in Vancouver, of course, in my universe. I think that by now Galley is able to play. He is. Alright, so Robert Lang is gonna need to be benched. Alright, and now we are hosting the Montreal Canadiens, the Habs, who are 11-14-4. We have not played Montreal this season. Let's take a look at their team. Of course, I would love nothing more than to get my first win of the month against the Habs. Alright, so Yerky Lume is hurt, not gonna play, he's on injured reserve. So is Guy Carbonneau and so is Bobby Smith. So all three of those players not playing. Stéphane Beauregard and Patrick Roy net, Cooper Svoboda, Woolley, Daryl Sedor, Chris Chelios, Eric Desjardins, Nordmark on D. Then up front they have Brunet, Corson, King, Matto McPhee, Jamie Baker, Screwland, Thibodeau, Sean Pronger, Mike Keane, Claude Lemieux, Stéphane Richer, and Pat Falloon. Alright, let's beat the Habs now, shall we? Let's give them a good shellacking. Patrick Roy is going to be in net for Montreal. Archie Serbe in net for the Kings. Go Kings! Come on. Alright, a 6-3 win to get us started in the W column here. We did lose Jeff Smith, it looks like, in that game, so that's not ideal. We were outshot 51-42 in that game, so defense be damn. Luc Robitaille was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and an assist. Gerald Deduck was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Robert Reichel was the third star with 3 assists. I thought that he wasn't playing. I guess he played. Alright, so Andrew Castles opened up the scoring in the first from Ray Shepard and Alexei Gusarov. Then Montreal tied the game. We had a 1-1 tie after 1. Then in the second period, Gerald Deduck scored from Mike Gartner and Robert Reichel, made it 2-1, but Montreal tied again, so it was 2-2 after 2. And then in the third period, Luc Robitaille scored on the power play from Gary Galley and Andrew Castles, made it 3-2, and then Montreal tied the game for the third time, made it 3-3, but then we scored 3 unanswered after that. Luc Robitaille scored his 15th from Robert Reichel and Mike Gartner, then Ray Shepard scored his 10th from Luc Robitaille and Andrew Castles, and then finally Randy Wood scored his 5th in an empty net from Robert Reichel and Gerald Deduck. It was a nice 6-3 victory. Alright, finally a win in December. And as we saw, Jeff Smith is hurt. We saw that. Oh my. Okay. Now the reason why I'm laughing is that if you're looking at the screen right now, it shows that Ottawa accepted the trade offer, which, you know, they declined just yesterday, and I remade the exact same offer because I thought that I forgot to submit it, and this time they want it. So hey, so I get Joe Rickey back. That's cool. I get Rob Brown. I'm not as excited about that, and I lose Mike Gartner, of course. But yeah, it's time to have Alexander Mogilny play in the top 6. That's where he belongs. So yeah. But anyway. Alright, so Jeff Smith is out for 8 days with an hyperextended ankle. So I'm not going to put him on the injured reserve. I don't think it's worth it. Red light stays on for Dale Howard-Chuck. He had 3 goals and an assist against the Pittsburgh Penguins. Gary Galley is completely recovered from his injury. Alright. Oh, that's why they accepted it. Oh, okay, sorry. So, see, I laughed for no reason. Okay, I screwed up. Well, technically I didn't necessarily screw up. I gave up my 5th round draft pick. I thought that I went to Ottawa. So, you know what? I don't really care about the 5th round draft pick. I care more about, you know, getting something from Mike Gartner, which I did. And I find somebody that can play right wing to fill his spot in the lineup. And I'm getting Joe Rickey, which is going to be a little bit of an improvement on my D. Not a superstar. Nobody's a superstar in the players that I acquired. But I wanted to get value for Gartner before he starts declining too much. So I got that. I completed the trade. Alright, so Ottawa gets a legit good forward to go play there. Kind of like in real life, you know, in their first season, they went out and got Bob Kudelski in their first season. So this time they got Mike Gartner, and they traded with the same team too, the LA Kings. Alright, so I have some movement to make. Oh, it wasn't Reichel, that was Earth, it was Lang. Dear God, I'm scatterbrained. I'm a little tired, but that's not an excuse. I need to be more focused. Alright, so Jeff Smith is gonna stay there. I'm gonna send down Rhymeshaw. There you go. And I should be fine. Now, of course, you know, I'm expecting and I would hope that my coach puts Rob Brown on the third line. That's probably where he fits. And now I have McGillney and Shepard to play on my top two lines on the right wing. That was the whole purpose of making that trade. Alright, we have a day off. So welcome back, Joe Ricky. I was a little disappointed to lose him in the expansion draft, so I just went and got him right back. Look at me. Alright, so Don Beaupre has been put on waivers by the Oilers, and the Oilers have also put Jarmo Millis on waivers, which means that they just got him from... yeah, they made a trade with Pittsburgh, that's why. Wow, Don Beaupre... I can't go and get him, but I'm sure he's gonna get claimed maybe by like Ottawa or something. Alright, so Sean McEachern in Boston got suspended. He's going to miss one game. Mike Donnelly, not suspended in San Jose, gets to stay in the lineup over there. Robert Lang and not Robert Reichel. Too many Roberts. And I have Rob Brown now. Alright, so feeling better. Alright, so Don Biggs and the rights to Olivier Jensen. See that? Okay, so this is a gripe that I have with the game. Alright. So Edmonton traded Don Biggs and this guy to Pittsburgh for Don Beaupre. Okay, that's cool. And Jarmo Millis. Okay, that's cool. Now, Edmonton already has Grant Fuhr and Bill Ranford, which are both 4-star goaltenders. And what does Edmonton do after making that trade? They put both goaltenders that they just traded for on waivers. It makes no sense. And that's not the first time I've seen that. That shouldn't be like that. First of all, Edmonton doesn't need to go get two goaltenders in a trade when they have Ranford and Grant Fuhr, unless maybe they have injuries. But even then, you know, why put them on waivers right after? I can understand maybe putting Jarmo Millis on waivers because they made maybe they got him as a throw in the trade or something like that, but not both of them. It doesn't make sense. Alright, so Quebec is in town. So now we just beat Montreal. Now the Nordiques are in town. Nordiques have a very similar record to ours. They are 13, 14, and 2. We have not played them so far this season, so let's take a look. Alright, so Randy Veliscek is hurt, not gonna play. And then Paul Gillis is hurt as well, may or may not play. Alright, so the Nordiques have the Daniel Berthiaume and Stéphane Fizet in net. On D, they have Tommy Albeline, Fenives, Nick Lidstrom. Alexei Zoltak. Now, I know of Sergei Zoltak. I didn't know there was a defenseman named Alexei Zoltak. Jeff Brown, Curtis Leseshin on D. Up front, they have Gaetan Duchesne, Michel Gulamaikov, Walt Podobny, Vyazmikin, Basson, Gillis Sakic, Peter Stachny, Alfie Turcotte, Pashek, Anton Stachny still there, not He hasn't retired yet. Vermette, Lelou, and Ziggy Palfy is in Quebec. Oh, that's cool. I would have loved that as a kid. I really like Ziggy Palfy. I would have loved to have him on the Nordiques. All right. Right, so Joe Ricky playing on the third pair with Adam Burt for now. Nordiques are going to go with Stéphane Fizet-Net. I'm going with Arthur Serbe. Go Kings! Make it 2 W's in a row. No, we lost 5-4. Oh, I forgot to look at my forward lines. That's dumb. I'll check next game. Alright, so we outshot Quebec 48-26. Arthur Serbe is having some issues this season. Feels like he's the cause of some losses, at least this month for sure. Alright, so Alexei Lelou was the first star of the game. He had a goal and 3 assists. Gerald Dedock was the second star with 2 assists, and Zygmunt Palfy was the third star with a goal. Another sellout crowd here in Inglewood today. Nordique scored first in the first period, then we scored 3 goals. Ken Gernander scored from Scott Arniel and Gerald Dedock, then Andrew Castles from Luc Robitaille and Joe Ricky, then Luc Robitaille from Ray Shepard and Gerald Dedock. It was 3-1 Kings, but before the end of the period, the Nordiques would tie the game. It was tied at 3 after 1. Then in the second period, the Nordiques made it 4-3, but then we tied the game. Alexander McGillney scored his 15th from Randy Wood and Gary Galley. It was 4-4 after 2. Oh, lots of penalties in the second period as well. But no fighting. Alright, and then in the third period, Zygmunt Palfy scored the game winner. That was the only goal of the period. We couldn't tie the game, so we lost 5-4 in regulation, which, even if we lost in overtime, that was still not giving any points in 1992. There was no stopping Cam Neely with 3 goals and an assist against the Sens. Craig Janney's suspension ended in Boston, back in the lineup. Sean McEachern back from suspension as well. Wow, so the Bruins were without Sean McEachern and Craig Janney. They were both suspended. No one could stop Dave Gagne with the North Stars. He had 3 goals and 2 assists against the Oilers. Cliff Running extends his point streak to 12 games with a goal against the Sharks. Robert Lang feeling better. Right, one more day off, and then we're going to play the Blues. Alright, so Randy Hillier is suspended in Buffalo. He's going to be missing 6 games. Sylvain Lefebvre also suspended in New Jersey. He's going to miss 1 game. Robert Lang completely recovered. And Dave Babich in Hartford was put on the trading block. All right. We are about to host St. Louis. We have not played them this season. They are 10-16-3. That's good for 10th in the conference. Let's take a look at their team. Well, they are fully healthy, so that's pretty much the best that they can do right there. And it looks like they are very loaded up front, but they don't have very good defense or goaltending. So Brian Hayward and D'Alessio in net. On D, Brian Benning is pretty much their only decent defenseman. Robert Dirk, Gaston Gingras, Darian Hatcher should become a decent defensive defenseman, but he's only 20, so he's not developed. Keith Brown, Alain Côté, and Gordy Roberts on D. That's not a great D. Gino Cavallini up front, Tom Chorsky, Dimitri Ristich, Brad Lauer, Dave Laurie, Sergio Momesso, Rod Brennamore, Mike Bullard, Cliff Running, Matt Sundin, Pavel Buri, Brettel, Greg Paslowski, and Vasky. So lots of firepower up front. So it seems to me that the Blues is a team that, wins games, 8-6 or something like that. Alright, so McGinney plays on the second line. I'm fine with that. Maybe I would prefer he would be on the first with Castles and Robitaille, but, Ray Shepard is no slouch, so that's fine with me. Right, so Corey D'Alessio is in net for St. Louis. Arthur Serby is still our goaltender, despite him not doing too great lately. Go Kings! Come on, we should be able to win this, right? Right. Oh yeah, 7-2 victory. Look at that. Shots were tied, 33 apiece. Alexander McGillney was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Mike Ridley was the second star with 2 assists. And Adam Burt was the third star with an assist as well. Sellout crowd here in Inglewood yet again. Nobody scored in the first period, which is kind of surprising given that we scored 7. And then in the second period, we scored 5 unanswered goals. Gary Volk from Gerald Deduck and Mike Ridley, then Randy Ladouceur from Robert Reichel, Randy Wood from Robert Reichel and Alexander McGillney, Ray Shepard from Adam Burt and Andrew Castles, and then Alexander McGillney from Alexei Gusarov and Robert Lang. We had a 5-0 lead after 2, just like that. There was also some face punching between Randy Ladouceur and Darian Hatcher. Then in the third period, Gary Volk made it 6-0 from Scott Arneal and Mike Ridley. Then the Blues scored both of their goals. It was 6-2, and we added one more goal for good measure. Luke Robitaille on the power play from Andrew Castles and Gary Galley. A 7-2 decisive victory. Alright, Cliff Running's point streak ended at 12 games. He didn't get a point against us. We stopped him. Murray Craven extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against the Capitals. Sylvain Lefebvre is back in the lineup in New Jersey. Served his suspension. Stephen Finn got suspended in Tampa Bay. He's going to miss 5 games. And Robert Cron feeling a little bit better. We could use him. Alright, couple days off, and then we're going to be hosting the Tampa Bay Lightning for the first time of the season. So Tampa Bay, of course, is one of the 2 expansion teams this season, along with the Sens. Oh, Rob Brown is hurt, of course, because I just got him. He's day-to-day. Alright, so let's see here. Do I need to do something? Okay, so Gernander can come in and Kron can come in, so we're good. Robert Cron is completely recovered. Awesome. Alright, one more day off. Alright, and now we are going to be hosting Tampa Bay. Tampa Bay is 10-19-3. That's good for 9th in the conference. Now, for those of you that do not remember, when the Tampa Bay Lightning joined the league in 1992, they were put into the Western Conference, a little bit similar to what happened when Atlanta moved to Winnipeg. That first season, Winnipeg was in the East, even though it doesn't geographically make any kind of sense. So, yeah. Alright, let's take a look at Tampa Bay. Just like in real life, they drafted a little bit better than the Sens, although it's not as pronounced. But they did get a little bit of a better team. Alright, so there's a suspension. Stephen Finn, as we saw, just got suspended. We're not going to play against him. Craig Beddington and Darcy Wakalok are in net for Tampa Bay. Mark Bergevin, Stephen Finn, Kerry Hoffman, Stepanik, Sergei Gonchar was drafted apparently by them. Craig Ludwig, Lee Norwood, and Rick Zombo on D. Up front, they have former King Sylvain Couturier, Jan Eriksson, Mike Krushelinski, also former King. That's Mats Naslund. Andrei Nazarov, Patrick Sundstrom, Sweeney, Peter Zezel, Berglund, Brown, McDermott, Napier, and Herb Raglan. Let's see if we can beat Tampa Bay. Darcy Wakaluk in net for the Lightning. Artus Airbase still in net for us. Go Kings! Oh my god, we lost 4-3. That's a little embarrassing. Alright, so a 4-3 loss. We are really not a home team. We play better on the road. I don't know why. We outshot Tampa Bay 34-24. Mark Napier was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Andrew Castles was the second star with a goal and an assist. And Bob Sweeney was the third star with a goal and an assist as well. Set out crowd in LA for this game. Tampa Bay opened up the scoring in the first, and it was 1-0 Tampa Bay after 1. Adam Burt and Herb Raglan fought as well. Then in the second period, Andrew Castle scored his 15th of the season from Robert Cron and Ray Shepard. Then Gary Galley scored on the power play from Randy Wood and Robert Reichel. We were up 2-1, but before the end of the second period, Tampa Bay tied the game. It was 2-2 after 2. Then in the third period, Luke Robitaille scored from Andrew Castles and Gary Galley, made it 3-2 Kings. Then Patrick Sundstrom tied the game, and Jan Eriksson gave the Lightning the win. And with pretty much midway into the third period, we just could never tie the game. And we lost 4-3. Luke Robitaille got a 5-minute major for boarding there, and I have a news here, so that scares me that he's getting suspended. And he is. Luke Robitaille is going to miss the next 3 games. Pierre Turgeon extends his goal streak to 5 games with a goal and an assist against Boston. Mario Lemieux has a great game. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Flyers. Mark Recchi extends his assist streak to 8 games in the same game. He had 2 goals and an assist. And Jeff Smith returns to the lineup. Alright, so do I need to do anything here? Okay, you can play, you can play, you can come in. Alright, we're good. Alright, we have a couple days off, and then we're going to be hitting the road for a couple games. Glenn Anderson has produced 900 points in his career. He had a goal and 2 assists against the Canucks. Glenn Anderson is 32 years old and he's still a 3.5-star player. Derek King extends his goal streak to 5 games. He had a goal against the Nordiques. Suspension for Pittsburgh's Mario Lemieux. He's going to miss 5 games. Wow. Where is the star treatment? Mark Recchi extends his assist streak to 9 games with an assist in that same game. That was against the Flyers. Rob Brown might be coming back. That'd be great. And now we're going to be playing in Edmonton against the Oilers. Oilers are 21-12. That's good for 3rd in the conference. We are 1-1 against Edmonton this season. Let's see if we continue to have erratic play by our friend Artus Irbe. Alright, Grant Fuhrer is going to be in net for Edmonton. Go Kings! There you go, 5-3 win. I don't know what it is about us playing on the road. Like we're more relaxed or something. I don't know. Too much pressure to play in LA. Maybe there's some dickheads in the stands or something. Alright, so 5-3 win on the road in Edmonton against a team that's ahead of us in the standings, so that's pretty good. We were outshot 40-38 in that one. Robert Reichel was the first star of the game. He had a goal and an assist. Mark Messier was the second star with 2 assists. Robert Cron was the third star with a goal and an assist. Andrew Castle scored on a power play to open up the scoring in the first from Gary Galley and Alexander McGillney. Then Robert Cron scored short-handed from Ray Shepard and Randy Ladouceur, made it 2-0. Kings, and then the Oilers scored, made it 2-1 for the Kings after 1. Then in the second period, Edmonton scored to tie the game, and then Ray Shepard scored from Scott Arniel and Andrew Castles. It was 3-2 Kings after 2. There was a fight between Kevin Lowe and Joe Rickey. And then in the third period, Edmonton scored, tied the game yet again, and then we scored twice. Robert Reichel from Robert Cron and Gary Volk, and then Alexei Gusarov in an empty net from Robert Reichel and Alexander Mogilny, 5-3 the final score. Strong night for Bruce Driver in New Jersey. He had 4 assists against the Tampa Bay Lightning. For a second I thought it was against me because last year I did the wow. Okay. Rob Brown almost back. He actually played last game. And Zino Cicerelli has been put on the block in Minnesota. That would be a good player to get. Alright, we are now in Calgary to play against the Flames. Flames are 23-9-1. That's good for top of the conference. We are, however, 2-1 against the Flames this season. Let's see if we can beat them again. Francois Gravel is going to be in net for us. Mike Vernon in net for the Flames. Go Kings! Oops, we dropped that one 5-4 on the road. So a valiant effort, but we ended up dropping that one. Oh wow, we outshot the Flames 38-26. We played better than them. We didn't get goaltending. Theo Fleury was the first of the game. He had a goal and 2 assists. Robert Cron was the second star with 2 assists. And Doug Gilmour was the third star with 2 goals. Ray Shepherd opened up the scoring in the first. That was a power play goal from Andrew Castles. Then the Flames tied the game, and then Mike Ridley scored from Robert Cron and Ray Shepherd. 2-1 Kings after one. There was a fight between Al McInnes and Randy Ladouceur as well. Then in the second period, the Flames scored twice, and they were up 3-2 after 2. There was another fight between Al McInnes and Robert Cron. Then in the third period, Al Seckerd tied the game from Robert Cron and Randy Ladouceur. Then the Flames scored twice. They were up 5-3. Then Robert Reichel scored from Gary Volk and Scott Arneal. We were down 1 with 7:40 left to go in the third period. And yet again, we just couldn't tie that game. We are missing Wayne Gretzky. He would make the difference in a game like that, at least from time to time. That's another W, and Ray Shepherd is injured. Oh, that's not good. I want my Gartner back. 1 to 2 weeks, that's not the end of the world. A strained abdominal muscle, so Ray Shepherd sidelined for 1 to 2 weeks. Peter Nedved extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against Montreal. Pierre Turgeon extends his goal streak to 6 games. He had a goal in that same game against Montreal. Mark Recchi extends his point streak to 12 games. He had an assist against the Islanders. That was 10 straight games with an assist for him. Kevin Stevens extends his goal streak to 5 games. In that same game, he had a goal and 2 assists. Bob Plager's job is on the line again. I think that's a little unfair to have a guy that hasn't played NHL season for an expansion team as a coach to be on the hot seat already. But it is what it is, and Rob Brown is completely recovered here. Alright, I'm gonna need 2. Yeah, especially with Luc Robitaille out. Now I get to recall an Alpha Star player. Lucky me. We'll go with Alex X, I think. All right. Now we have, what, a couple days off, and then we're going to be hosting the Canucks before Christmas break. Peter Nedved extends his point streak to 13 games with an assist against the Leafs. And Ray Shepherd already ready to come back to practice. That's pretty impressive. Alright, so Esa Tikkanen is suspended. He's gonna miss 5 games. Joe Nieuwendyk has a memorable game. He had 4 goals against the Oilers. That is indeed a pretty good game. A night to remember for Ron Francis. He had a hat-trick against the Habs. A night to remember for Nikolai Borchevsky playing for Ottawa. He had 4 assists against the Washington Capitals. Mark Recchi set everything up tonight. He had a goal and 4 assists against the Quebec Nordiques. That was 13 straight games with a point, 11 straight with an assist for him. Kevin Stevens extended his goal streak to 6 games with that game, 2 goals and an assist. And Randy Hillier is back from suspension in San Jose, back in the lineup over there. Alright, Vancouver is in town. They are 13, 14, and 5. That's good for 8 in the conference. We are 1-1 against the Canucks. Oof, that left side without Robitaille doesn't look all that awesome, huh? Oh, that right side without Shepard also doesn't look all that awesome. I think I'm gonna just look at my centers. Alright, Kirk McLean is in net for Vancouver. Artur Serbe is in net for us. We have a little bit of a depleted team there between the injuries and suspensions. So, go Kings. And we lost 3-1. That's not a good month this month. We were outshot 36-29. Jaromir Jagr was the first star of the game. He had 2 assists. Gerald Deduck was the second star with a goal. And Doug Lidster was the third star with 2 assists. Another sellout crowd in Inglewood. Canucks scored first in the first period. Then we tied the game. Gerald Deduck scored short-handed, from Robert Reichel and Randy Wood. It was tied at 1 after 1. Then in the second period, Vancouver scored, made it 2-1. We had a fight between Rob Brown and Doug Lidster. And then Vancouver added 1 more goal in the third period in an empty net, made it 3-1, and of course that sealed the deal. That's another loss for us. And we have another injury, Scott Arniel this time. 1 to 2 weeks as well, huh? Alright, so Robitaille is back in the lineup after serving his suspension, so that's good. And Stephen Finn is back from suspension in Tampa Bay now. Scott Arniel is hurt for 1 to 2 weeks. So we're going to put him on the injured reserve, and I'm going to recall another half-star player, because I don't have enough of those on my team still. Alright, this time we're going to go ahead and recall Magnus Arvidsson, I think. Alright, we have a couple, 3 days off. It's Christmas. Peter Nedved's point streak ended at 13 games. Didn't get a point in a 2-2 tie against Washington. Brent Sutter has achieved 600 points in his career. He got an assist against Montreal. Brent Sutter is 30 years old and he is a 3.5-star player. Mark Recchi's point streak ended at 13 games. He got pointless against Philadelphia, and his assist streak, of course, ended as well at 11 games. Then Magnus Arvidsson would like number 20, but I'm not going to give you 20 because it's Luc Robitaille's, and you're a rookie, you can get 24. All right. Today is Christmas. Gord Mark has been put on waivers by the Blackhawks. Esa Tikkanen has been put on the trading block by the Oilers. There's a lot of fairly good players, so we might see some interesting movement at the trade deadline. That'd be great. I'm always for a big trade to happen. I love seeing that. Alright, so the Christmas break is over. We are going to be on the road for a quick game in San Jose against the Sharks. They are 7-25-3. That's good for a dead last in the conference. We are 3-0 against the Sharks this season. Please let me be 4-0 against them. I need a win here. Artis Airbase is going to be in net for us. Glenn Ely playing against his former team in net for San Jose. Go Kings! Oh yeah, we won 7-3. We outshot San Jose 37-27. Gary Volk was the first star of the game with 2 assists. Luc Robitaille was the second star with 3 assists. And Andrew Castles was the third star with 2 assists. Nobody in the Stars scored goals. So who scored? Well, we're about to find out, I guess. Alright, so San Jose scored first in the first period. Then Robert Reichel scored from Gary Volk and Jeff Smith, tied at 1 after 1. And in the second period, Randy Wood scored from Robert Reichel and Gary Volk. Then Alexander McGillney from Gary Galley and Luc Robitaille. Then San Jose scored, made it 3-2. And then Magnus Arvidsson scored his first NHL goal from Alex Hicks and Joe Rickey. 4-2 Kings after 2. Then in the third period, Alexei Gusarov scored from Alexander McGillney and Luc Robitaille, made it 5-2. Then San Jose scored. Then Jeff Smith scored his 5th from Robert Cron and Andrew Castles. And then finally, Alexei Gusarov scored his 5th as well on the power play from Andrew Castles and Luc Robitaille. It was a 7-3 victory today. Alright, so Dirk Graham in Chicago is suspended. He's going to miss 5 games. And Randy Burridge in Boston had a strong game. He had a hat-trick against Hartford. Oh, Gretzky's about to come back. Ooh, that's exciting. Paul Coffey extends his assist streak to 8 games. He had 3 assists against the Buffalo Sabres. Joe Murphy extends his goal streak to 5 games in Detroit. He had a goal and 3 assists against the Blackhawks. Excellent passing leads to a productive night for Steve Yzerman in that same game. He had a goal and 4 assists. Also really good. Dusan Pashek is suspended in Quebec. He's going to miss 3 games. And Wayne Gretzky ready to come back. Yes, please. Please. Alright, we're hosting the Philadelphia Flyers now. They have a pretty good record of 18-13-3. We have not played the Flyers so far this season. Let's take a look at who they have on their lineup. Rick Tocchet is hurt. He's not going to be playing this game. He has a fractured ankle. I guess that's an acceptable injury to miss a game. Right, Ron Extall and Darren Pupa in net. On D they have Terry Carkner, Steve Duchesne, Mark Howe, Shel Samuelson, Eric Weinrich, Doug Huda. Then up front they have Bozek, Courtnall, Craven, Lamprop, Eklund, Freer, Juno, Richie, Zamnov, Wood, Chernomaz, Jodiel, Miller, and Dave Poulet. Ron Extall is going to be in net for Philadelphia. We're going to go with Artis Airbase. Go Kings. Give us a home victory. That'd be great. Thank you. 8-5 victory. We were outshot 47-29. So they didn't, for once, the other team didn't get the goaltending. Luc Robitaille was the first star of the game. He had 2 goals and 2 assists. Andrew Castles was the second star with 4 assists, and Alexander McGillney was the third star with a goal and 2 assists. Sellout crowd yet again in Inglewood. Flyers scored 3 goals to start the first period. Then Robert Reichel scored his 15th from Randy Ladouceur and Randy Wood. And then Robert Reichel again from Gary Volk and Randy Wood. 3-2 Flyers, after 1. Al Seckert and Terry Carkner got into a fight, so did Adam Burt and Jeff Courtnall. Then in the second period, the Flyers scored twice. It was 5-2 Philadelphia after 2. Didn't look good for us, But we came back with 6 unanswered goals in the third period. Alexander McGillney scored from Luke Robitaille and Alexei Gusarov, then Gerald Deduk from Luke Robitaille and Andrew Castles. Gary Galley scored short-handed from Magnus Arvidsson and Andrew Castles. The game was tied at 5 at that point. Alexei Gusarov with the game winner today from Randy Wood and Andrew Castles made it 6-5. Luke Robitaille scored from Andrew Castles and Alexander McGillney, and then finally Robitaille again on the power play. That was his 20th of the season from Gary Galley and Alexander McGillney. That's a nice 8-5 victory. Plenty of goals for the Los Angeles fans that were in the stands. And Andrew Castles is hurt. Because of course he is. Okay, he's day to day, so we might be okay. And thankfully Gretzky is not too far off either. Alright, so Anders Carlson in Ottawa has been put on waivers. I will not pick him up. Alright, so he is day to day with a bruised jaw. Andrew Castles is, that is. And of course he had that 4-assist game, which was pretty good. Great night for Pat LaFontaine. He had a hat-trick, 3 goals against the Leafs. Ron Duguay played in his 1000th game. Former King Ron Duguay was with us for the longest time. Played in his 1000th game, didn't get a point. Ron Duguay is 35 years old and he is a 1.5-star player. In a good game for Dave Ellett in Winnipeg, he had a hat-trick against the Bruins. Alright. December scouting update. Don't care. Right, the player poll results. So the best skater in the league, according to the players, is Pavel Bure. The hardest shot is Al McInnes. The toughest is Jay Caulfield. Fastest is Pavel Bure. Best role model, Steve Yzerman. Cleanest is always Andy Brickley for some reason. Most controversial is Tony Amonte. The most overrated is Brian Fogarty. The most underrated is Guy Carbonneau. The smartest player is Steve Yzerman. The toughest goalie to beat is Patrick Roy. And the coach you'd most like to play for is Glenn Sater in Edmonton. Alright, so looks like we're going to be playing the last game of the month without Andrew Castles. We're going to be in Vancouver to play the Canucks. Canucks are now 16, 14, and 5. That's good for 7th in the conference. We are 1-2 against the Canucks this season. And a win would be pretty awesome. Artur Serbe in net for us. Kirk McLean in net for Vancouver. Go Kings! We lost 4-0. We couldn't do anything with all those injuries. It's starting to pile up. We were outshot 36-19, lost 4-0. Gordonine, former LA King, first star of the game with a goal and an assist. Petri Skriko was the second star with a goal and an assist, and Brian Bradley was the third star with 2 assists. Canucks scored 3 times in the first period, and another time in the second. It was 4-0. We had a fight in the third period. Gord Donnelly and Rob Brown. That was pretty much it for this game. Alright, so we didn't end... Oh, and Randy Wood is hurt because... Man, we're not doing too great. He's out for 3 weeks. We're going to need to take care of that. Alright, he has a pinched nerve in his neck. Suspension for Georgi Yevstyukin in New York with the Rangers. He's going to miss 2 games. Paul Coffey's assist streak ended at 8 games. Didn't get an assist or goal against the Leafs. Mario Lemieux is back from suspension in Pittsburgh. Passes on point for Pat LaFontaine. He had a goal and 5 assists against the Blues. Pretty good game. The top selling jerseys for the Kings: Wayne Gretzky, Luc Robitaille, Artur Serbe, Gary Galley, and Ray Shepherd. Scott Arniel ready for full contact. The top selling jerseys in the NHL, Gretzky is 7th and Luc Robitaille is 11th. And the players of the month were Doug Gilmour and Curtis Joseph, both probably deserving. Alright, so we are January 1st of 1993 now. Yeah, we have a slew of injuries at forward. None of them are for super long term right now, but it's still crippling us at this point. What does it look like if I look over here? I might be able to get Ray Shepard. Alright, let's put Randy Wood down on the injured reserve. Then we're gonna look at our wonderful stable of ALF star players. I think I'm gonna get Allison up this time. Alright, so standings. Alright, so we're 6th, so we dropped. We're 6th in the conference. We didn't have a very good month in December, so we're gonna need to kind of rally, but it's kind of hard when you have so many injuries, right? So Gretzky coming back in January should help. Now in the other conference, yeah, Pittsburgh is running away with this season. They have 61 points. That's by far the best team. So Ottawa not doing too good, and yeah, Ottawa and San Jose the worst two teams in the league. Now if we look at stats in our team, Robitaille and Castles both have 48 points. McGillney and Reichel both have 38 and 38, so they are a point per game. Gary Galley is our best defenseman at 29, and then it just goes down from there. So yeah, of course I traded some offense away by trading Mike Gartner, right? But it needed to be done. Mario Lemieux, still the best goal scorer in the league with 39. Peter Klima has 30. Wow, I wouldn't expect to see him there. Yzerman is the best passer with 52 assists. And Lemieux is the best scorer with 81 points. That's 9 more than second places Turgeon and Yzerman. Goalies. Yeah, we don't see any of our goaltenders here as usual for this season. That's a lost cause. Alright, I'm gonna go ahead and save the game, and I'm gonna go ahead and stop here for today. So as usual, I do want to thank you for tuning in. Now if you're watching this on YouTube later and that you've liked the video, please feel free to like, subscribe, share, comment, all of that good stuff. And until I roll this game again, I'll see you folks next time. Thank you.